everyone, my name is Desiree Dority, and today I will be speaking to you about the bombing that took place in Oklahoma City. On April 19, 1995, the lives of many Oklahomans and Americans were changed forever. It was a day like any other day. Picture driving to work and drinking your normal cup of coffee. Your children have been dropped off at daycare by now, and your day at work is just beginning, when everything as you once knew it would be changed in a matter of minutes. In Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, on April 19, 1995, Timothy James McVeigh and his accomplice Terry Lynn Nichols made a terroristic attack on not only the city, but also the country. All of us know the history of what happened on September 11, 2001, but many do not know that there was a terroristic attack on the country prior to this. It may not have been as significant as the Twin Towers, but it did impact our country greatly, and we should all have knowledge of it. I've personally visited the bombing site twice in my life, and each time I leave, I'm left with a greater impact. Hopefully what I share with you today will have some of that same impact. To begin the history of what happened in 1995, we must go back to April 19, 1993. In Waco, Texas, a 51-day standoff at the Branch Davidian compound came to a burning end. According to the Texas Observer, the Branch Davidian compound's charismatic leader, Vernon Howe, a 33-year-old musician who also went by the name of David Koresh, requested that one of his sermons to be broadcasted across a national radio station in return for turning himself in to the FBI. The surrender never happened. Many followers chose to leave the compound, but many also chose to stay. And on April 19, 1993, over 75 people inside died, including children. On the scene of the compound was journalism college student Michelle Roche. She actually interviewed McVeigh at the time and recalls what his thoughts were in the Tulsa World News. McVeigh believed that the government was greatly at fault for what had happened in Waco, Texas, and that constitutional laws were broken. He went on to quote the U.S. Constitution and said that U.S. armed forces should not be used against civilians, and yet they were used against Koresh and his followers. What many do not know is that the reasoning behind the Oklahoma City bombing was a way for McVeigh to get revenge on the government for what he believes they did wrong in Waco, Texas. Pictured here, courtesy of CoverX, is a picture of the compound in flames, and also a picture that the interviewer, Michelle Roche, took of McVeigh the day she interviewed him, which I got from the National Museum in Oklahoma. On April 19, 1995, exactly 2 years after the standoff in Waco, Texas came to an end, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma was bombed. It was a clear and cool morning with a temperature in the 60s and a chance of showers. At 9:02 in the morning, a Ryder truck filled with a highly explosive bomb went off near the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. According to the FBI, inside the vehicle was a deadly concoction of agricultural fertilizer, diesel fuel, and other chemicals. McVeigh got out of the vehicle, locked the doors, and proceeded to walk to his getaway vehicle. He ignited a one-time fuse and then another, and at precisely 9:02 a.m., the bomb exploded. 168 souls were lost, including 19 children, and along with several hundred more injured. Pictured to the left is a picture of the building before the explosion and then after the explosion, and I painted all these pictures from the museum. And then also down here in the middle is a clock that was recovered that actually stopped at 9:02 when the bomb exploded. According to Law 2 Project Trials, McVeigh hopped into his Mercury and headed north out of the city. At about 10:20 a.m., while traveling north on Interstate 35, about 35 miles away from the Kansas border, McVeigh stopped by Highway Patrol Officer Charlie Hanger, who notices that he has no license plates on his vehicle. McVeigh is then arrested for having no registration, no license plates, and also carrying a concealed weapon with no permit. He is then booked and lodged in the county jail in Perry, Oklahoma. On April 21st, 2 days after the attack, federal agents traveled to Perry, Oklahoma to arrest McVeigh on accounts for malicious destruction of federal property by means of an explosion. On June 13, 1997, McVeigh is sentenced to death, and Nichols is sentenced to life in prison. And on June 10, 2001, McVeigh was put to death. The lasting effects of the Oklahoma City bombing greatly changed our country and is remembered every day by many. Pictured here is McVeigh when he was arrested, and a paper clipping from when he was sentenced to death, and a paper clipping from when Nichols was sentenced to life in prison. Located where the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building once stood is an outdoor memorial to represent those who are lost. For all 168 souls lost is a golden chair to represent them. For adults is a large-sized chair, and for children is a smaller-sized chair. According to the Oklahoma City National Museum, it honors those who were killed, those who were survivors, and those who were changed forever on April 19, 1995. Also is an indoor learning museum to tell those of what happened on April 19, 1995, and how chaos turned into hope in the days following the attack. There's also an outside fence which holds pictures of loved ones and keychains and teddy bears and much more. By the choices and actions of one individual and the help of another, the lives of many were changed and the country as a whole was changed. We will never forget and we will never tolerate. These are the pictures taken at the museum as well. In conclusion, what happened on April 19, 1995 did not just change the lives of 168 killed, but the rest of the country was affected. Families were broken, the people were seeking justice, and the government was enacting its laws to protect its people. It took 1 minute to stop the clock of our entire nation. As a member of Team 5 said on April 19, 1995, we search for the truth, we seek justice, the courts require it, the victims cry for it, and God demands it. And the United States of America did just that. Thank you.